Yes, sir. What's poppin'? It's your boy, the boy Henry Heck, back at it again with another video. This video right here will be the top 5 worst things about the PSPortal. Oh yes, there are some negatives. Rest assured, there are some negatives, and I feel as though at this point in time, it's been out long enough. We've had it in our palms, our sweaty, greasy palms long enough to be able to speak about the negatives. You know, this is my list of negatives. You may have your own list of negatives. I may not cover your discrepancies, but you could also drop your discrepancies about the device inside the comments, written out or after the fact, whenever you so choose. You know what I mean? So let's get it popping. Number 5, which is actual portability. Okay. Here in these times, we see these handhelds, they've kind of regressed in such a way of back in the day when, you know, the Game Gear first dropped, the Game Boy first dropped. There were these huge bricks. You know what I mean? They were like bricks to carry around. They weren't necessarily the most comfortable, but they were just big. And though these handhelds these days, and yes, I do classify this as a handheld, these handhelds these days are at the stage now to where they're just huge. You know what I mean? Pause. Huge. You know, you have to bring something, a whole separate thing to carry them with. You can't just slide them into your pocket like yesteryear, how we used to do with the PS Vita, the most perfect handheld ever created. You know, you can just slide that bad boy off in your pocket. My Vita is actually in the truck because I still play it quite often. My Vita in the truck, so I can't really show you. I'll just put up a pic. But a lot of people may not care about that specific that specific point. But you know, over the spring and summer into the fall months, I do travel quite a bit. And even by nature of my job, I travel quite a bit, just around, you know, from town to town, place to place. So it's kind of a hassle to like bring a whole separate thing just for this. You know what I'm saying? You can't just throw everything in your bag because it might break. You know, you might fuck an analog up, you might crack a screen or blah, blah, blah. And handhelds of yesteryear had superior build quality in such a way you could drop it a couple times. You ain't gotta worry about nothing. You drop this joint, it's probably gonna be game over for you. You know what I mean? Especially you have to worry about things like stick drift and things of that nature. But I say the actual portability of the handheld itself, it's not really portable. You know what I mean? That's my number 5. Moving right along to number 4. Okay, number 4, top 5 worst things about the PSPortal is if you are an individual who enjoys consuming your game's media in a physical aspect, you kind of fucked. You know what I mean? Unless it's a game that you just plan on playing for the duration of your time. Like you can't, like, let's say you in the mood to play a little FF16, right? If FF16 ain't in your station, you fucked. You know what I mean? You're out the door, you know? So whatever game that you're playing and enjoying at that particular point in time, unless you actually get up, go to your system, swap the discs, and then go back to whatever you're doing, then you kind of stuck just playing that one game. You know what I mean? So if you take this off on vacation, you at an Airbnb in Florida, you know, and your system is in Tennessee, you know, and whatever, let's pick a game. Monster Hunter. Monster Hunter's in your console and you just got a hankering. You got a hankering to play a little, what other game can we pick? You got a hankering to play some Stellar Blade. You just want to hop in, you just want to dive in and see some cheeks flapping in the wind. That's what you feel like you're doing. You can't unless you own that digitally, because somebody has to physically be there in order to change the disc out for you in order for you to play whatever it is you want to play. So if you're a sole physical gamer, then you know that's a negative, and at some point you will come across that issue, unless you the type of person who just like to, whatever game you playing at that particular point in time, you just want to lock in and play that. You know what I'm saying? And that's it, you know. But that is number 4 of the top 5 worst things about the PlayStation Portal, baby. Moving right along, number 3 of the top 5 worst things about the portal is you cannot access streaming services or YouTube or Crunchyroll or web browser, anything. Well, you can't access the web browser. It's a workaround in order to access the web browser. But unless you're willing to do the workaround, then you can't access the web browser. But even that aside, you can't access your YouTube. You can't access your Apple TV. You can't access, again, one of my favorites, your Crunchyroll, your Hulu, and none of those things. You cannot access any streaming service, which is a shame. And I do hope that, you know, they change that. Do what they got to do in order to make it work. Because I'm a fan of bed game, and I like to use this device in the bed, laying across the sofa, on the back porch, wherever. And it would be cool if I could watch some YouTube videos. It would be cool if I could watch the latest episode of Solo Leveling Warrior. That would be tight to me. And I don't understand why we are unable to do that on the system. I wish we could. Somebody smarter than me may have a real reason as to why we can't, or to why, you know, it's blocked or whatever. Because if you try to pull it up, you'll get a notification, and it'll be like, whatever content you can't access, blah blah blah. Basically, you can't do it. You can't do it. You know what I mean? And I wish that would change, because I think it would be dope if we could. And here we are at number 1 junior. We are at number 2, which is the portal is damn near, well, I ain't gonna say damn, it's useless without an internet connection. You know what I mean? We do got the cloud situation, so you could connect to another network, which is internet. You know what I mean? So without the internet, you dead in the water. You might as well not even pull it out, because I was about to make a joke I'm not gonna make, but it is solely reliant on internet connection or some form of data connection in order for you to be able to play and enjoy your games. You know, they were completely and 100% upfront about this, and all the messaging and all the advertisement and all the advertising. They let us know out the gate, you need your five, you need your internet. You know what I mean? And then now, so we can use the cloud. But, you know, it's still negative to me, you know, because sometimes, man, I might be somewhere out on the road at nighttime and we waiting on water or whatever. And I'm like, man, I wish I could, you know, especially if you're in bad service areas, because I stay out in the sticks. I live out in the sticks. A lot of the areas we service are out in the sticks, you know, so connection is not always succulent. You know what I'm saying? That's one negative about living where I live. You know, there's tons of positives, but that is one negative, you know. And we often lose internet service like 1 or 2 times a month. Well, that's not really often, but, you know, it is inconvenient when it does happen, in which case I just go do something else. But sometimes you just want to hop on the game. Sometimes you just want a game. And sometimes I just want to use my PlayStation Portal, but I can't because the service is ass and I'm SOL. You know what I mean? I'm SOL. But, you know, that's no fault of them aside from designing it this way. But, you know, I bought the product knowing full well what I was getting, you know. But that's number 2. Heavily reliant on internet in order to be a viable, useful product. And now, ladies and gentlemen, we have reached le piece de resistance. You know, I messed that all up. But the piece of resistance. Number 1, the succulent, delicious, delectable numero uno, which is, it's not a PlayStation Vita 2. Oh yeah. I'm upset about that. I would have loved for this to be I guess in a way it kind of is a spiritual successor, but it lacks in the department of non-native. It's not a native device. You know what I mean? And as awesome as this device is, as much as I use it, as much as I praise it, that's still a negative for not only a lot of people, still a negative to me. You know what I'm saying? Because I would much prefer a native system. That's not what we got. That's not what they gave us. I bought it knowing that. But it still would be awesome to like get games designed with this in mind, like you got games that were designed with the PS Vita in mind, you know, because I mean, this does have gyro, but you had games that utilized the gyro. You had games that utilized the touchscreen on the front and the back. There were augmented reality games, and you know, it was so versatile in not only a gaming device but also a multimedia device. Yeah, cameras, video, you can do videos, music, movies, and in some ways this could also make use of, like, if you could use your streaming services on it, you know what I mean, that would be too cool, and it would rectify some of these issues. And I understand that it's not that, and it was never sold to be that, but it would be cool if it was that, you know what I mean? So number one is a super subjective thing, and you know, I'm just you know, because in a way I love the PSPortal, and I get a ton of use out of it. But if this were a PS Vita 2, you know, my mind is churning about how they could have really innovated and even made it. It still could have been this form factor. Put you a little camera right there, or put you a little camera in the back, and you know, have the bottom portion of this on the back touch screen, and you know. But I get that had they done that and made it a full native system with cooling and onboard storage, and you know, the touch screens and cameras and all this kind of thing, it would have jacked that price way up. This device on $200. You know what I'm saying? You in the door, you can play all your PlayStation 5 games, and then on top of that, you know, developing specifically for a handheld, it would take a lot of resources, and you know, a lot of people wouldn't like the fact that they would be diverting resources to develop games specifically for this. You know what I mean? A lot of people were up in arms when they was diverting resources to develop games specifically for multiplayer, like specifically multiplayer games. You know, people didn't really take too kindly to that. But yeah, number one is a super selfish thing. I just love the PlayStation Vita, and I wish this was a PlayStation Vita 2, to where I could, you know, store some games on here, store some movies on here, or whatever, and then have access to them without having to rely on that internet. But you know, that's not what they got. That's not what they gave us. They didn't even tell us who was gonna get that. You know, it's just a selfish thing in my brain going on. You know what I mean? It's selfish of me. It's my wants. It's my list. But you know, you can drop your comments down below. I'm not gonna take it too much further. I've been yapping long enough. Like, comment, subscribe if you want to. I will catch y'all inside of the next one. I'm gone.